Oh, baby. Tuesday. I thought it was Wednesday.
What is your feeling now knowing that it's Tuesday?
It feels like it's Tuesday now.
But are you disappointed or excited?
Disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'm disappointed.
Let's go!
Really hoping it was Thursday.
Anything is possible!
It's possible. What is up, everybody? And welcome into Studio X, DNBA Nuggets podcast. You did it, though. You're over. That's the hardest part.
Bro, I hate being the air horn.
You're the only air horn. I know, man. It's tough, man. It's like, you know what? You're Will Barton. No vote, no wind. You had to step into a larger, slightly more uncomfortable role here. Air horns.
I feel like I'm being pushed out.
Gonna trade you for Ish Smith later on. It's gonna be great. Guys, we're presented as always by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use promo code DNVR whenever you sign up. In fact, today, this very show, we're going to be talking about some DK futures. Eric doesn't even know this. You guys want a little behind, see how the sausage is made here. Eric, like you, is about to find out what our show's about today.
I am ill-prepared at all moments in life and somehow get by.
But honestly, don't need to be prepared.
I agree.
You're the one guy that can just, you're a freestyle jazz player.
It's so true. I think that, unfortunately, a lot of people don't like jazz.
Do you like jazz?
Not really.
I think jazz is all right. You guys know my love of Sidney Bechet. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different things. We have some headlines, some kind of funny headlines, to be honest, to get to in segment one. We might even make fun of the Los Angeles Lakers today. Do you feel prepared for that?
It's Friday vibes.
So it just happened to happen on a Monday night, so we get to talk about it on Tuesday. We got some news around the Golden State Warriors, both player-based and uniform-based. We might even talk a little bit about some other things around ownership of this or that. Segment 2, the 5 most interesting things about the Denver Nuggets this season.
Okay.
I'm going to give you my list. I'm going to hear your list. You're just going to make them up off the cuff.
Yeah, I could have been informed about that one to think about it.
Way more funny if your list is worse than mine.
Let's go.
And then in segment 3, we are going to look at the futures that are on DraftKings Sportsbook and talk about them. What are some of the odds? Coach of the year. Bones Hyland actually has the best odds, I feel, of anybody and for 2 different awards, most improved and 6 man. We're going to talk about which one's more likely and what will it take to do those things. Should be a lot of fun on the other side. But first, our top story tonight.
Let's go.
Jeanie Buss. Heard of her. The heir to the Buss fortune in the Los Angeles Lakers. Now the head of the Los Angeles Lakers. The brain trust, if you will.
I will not.
Well, you will. You will. Lakers missed the playoffs last 2 years. Brain trust. And here's the thing. Not very good at setting Twitter passwords.
Oh, no.
Last night, she was hacked. You didn't see this?
No.
You were not online?
Wow.
You were not online these
Offline
days?
with D-Line?
You were offline with D-Line. Last night, a tweet comes through from Jeanie Buss that's like, I'm selling 3 PlayStation 5s.
I love that. That is the top tweet of the hacker.
Yeah, I'm selling PS5.
This must be wildly
successful
because every person that gets hacked immediately is selling PS5.
Do you know how it works? So, like, was there wasn't, I'm taking an actual person behind her. It had to have been a bot that automatically.
No, that's a person.
That's a person?
A million.
Why not aim significantly higher? Like, if you're going to steal Jeanie, because if it was Eric Weedham's account and all of a sudden it comes out and it's like, I'm giving away 3 PS5s, somebody that follows you would be like, you're selling a PS5? Hey, I don't know how he came into this, a little shady, but you know what? I will call them. Maybe I'll give my personal information out. If Jeanie Buss, noted billionaire Jeanie Buss, is like, I'm selling, not giving away, I'm selling 3 PS5s. That's why I say it's got to be a bot. That's a terrible lie.
Well, here's the thing, Adam. Oftentimes, these these aims of the scanners scammers are not as well thought out as you'd like them to be.
Yeah.
Could it be a bot? Potentially.
She's like, I'm going to steal this account of a billionaire and make $900.
Maybe you're right.
Just saying, as somebody that didn't know exactly what they're doing. Anyway, if you saw Jeannie's message, do not respond, guys. Do not send your
I want a PS5.
Yeah, don't send your personal credit card information via DM as it requested. And then it had a follow-up, and it was like, only 1 PS5 left. Like, hurry up.
What if you...
It's 2 people.
What if you actually, like, met Jeanie Buss behind a McDonald's and, like, bought a PlayStation 5 off her that she was selling?
The Lakers are down so bad. She's like, I just need a little bit of money here.
She's like, well, what am I doing with it?
What are we doing?
It's best to be thrifty.
In all seriousness, though, it made me think about a bunch of things. One of them was, what an embarrassing thing.
To be hacked.
I hope I've never hacked.
There's so many new embarrassments to be had in the new digital world. Number one, as we learned during the pandemic, having bad Wi-Fi Very embarrassing.
That's so embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
Very
Makes you feel like an asshole.
You got roasted, by the way, in the comments. I don't know if you've been on YouTube lately and read the comments, but somebody roasting you for your bad Wi-Fi connection. So
God damn it. You see what I mean? That's not cool. And the worst part is that comes from work.
It does come from work.
I go into
somehow our Wi-Fi is, what's it called? Planned obsolescence? Like where your phone gets worse. I swear Wi-Fi is that way where they're like, it's perfect. And then 3 months later, it's like, we could get you a new plan.
First off, Kale is drinking our milkshake. Brandon's drinking our milkshake. We have to divvy this up a bunch of idiots. Plus the proximity to the Wi-Fi router.
I love the idea of Brandon's like in his office gaming, and so he can't stream anything. Brandon, get off the Wi-Fi.
Basically, I can't believe I got roasted. I want to kill myself. But there's a lot of there are new things to take into consideration this new digital age. Of one of which is being hacked, as you mentioned.
Right,
I mean, very embarrassing.
It's actually super embarrassing.
But if you think about it, being hacked, like
I better update my password.
Yeah, dude, being hacked is sort of like you just leave your bike out all the time.
Yeah.
And if somebody really, really wants it, they can like work on the lock for the whole time.
That's the thing now, bolt cutters, right? Everybody's like, I had a top shelf chain, but somebody just comes through, you bolt cut it, and you lose your scooter. So anyway, Jeanie bus hacked. Here's the thing, though, I liked about it. Number one, there's not that many owners that are on Twitter. If you think about it, Mark Cuban is on. Officially through their official account
as a blue check.
As a blue check, like I'm on and I'm going to talk to people. I guess it is becoming slightly more popular. It's the same with like coaches. It's weird actually to think about some coaches are online. Like Steve Kerr is online. Can you imagine how weird it'd be if Michael Malone didn't have a burner account, which I'm certain he has a burner account. Hi, Michael. But also, like, if he had an actual Michael Malone Twitter account, how weird it would be.
We were laughing the other day how funny it would be if the fake Tim Connolly burner account was actually just Tim Connolly.
Tim Connolly could pull that off.
That'd be the most incredible thing of all time, dude. I think I might make an Eric Weedham burner account. Make a D-Line burner account and just roast D-Line. I'm doing it.
But an owner being online, in that way is kind of funny. But then, like, to get hacked, it's just like so. To me, it's so like people don't know this, man. The Lakers are kind of in turmoil. I mean, people know this because you just look at the roster, this or that. But I think even grander than that, man. Like, part of me thinks the Lakers really are. Jeanie Buss is disguised by the fact that she won the bubble one. That she, meaning the Lakers, won the bubble. And they've disguised that because you have LeBron James, still a great player, still can't make the playoffs. You have one championship and a bunch of failures, 3 failures.
I mean, he got hurt. You're right.
Doesn't matter.
This is oh man, we're experiencing this very clearly all the time in Denver, Colorado, as it pertains to ownership needing to be savvy and needing to be able to want to compete in the sport that they own. With the Colorado Rockies,
right.
We have 2 country bumpkin idiots that run the Colorado Rockies, don't know what they're doing, can't get involved in trades, aren't part of the ecosystem. If Jeanie Buss doesn't quite, I mean, she empowered Rob Pelinka.
Right.
There are things where you can mask it to a point, but
even
if you're
that
not,
is
that's what I mean. Like, you can mask it to a point by empowering the right people, but at a certain point, you ultimately have to put the whole organization together. So the infrastructure was there, her father, she and her brother, but as it slowly goes down the line, it starts to slowly erode. It feels like that's what's happening, but it's whatever. They're the goddamn Lakers.
I don't know, man. I'm just slightly more optimistic.
I'm going to buy one of those PlayStations from her. See if we can
see what can happen. In other news, Steve Kerr, it came out today. ESPN had an article about JaMychal Green. How did he end up in Golden State? I think when these types of moves happen, you just assume, they probably had their eye on him the whole time, like this or that. Not the case. According to ESPN, JaMychal Green, heavily recruited by Steve Kerr and Draymond Green to come there as soon as Denver sent him away, and it became clear he was going to do a buyout. Sent him to, it was Oklahoma City, knew there was going to be a buyout, and apparently he had another deal lined up. He was going elsewhere.
Really?
And then, late in the game, Golden State calls him up and is like, hey, man, we think you fit perfectly. We really want you. Made a big push. JaMychal Green talked about it, and he said, yeah, I signed with Golden State because they wanted me so bad. They all made a very strong impression. Draymond Green, apparently he goes way back. By the way, Draymond Green, JaMychal Green, just Jeff Green, JaMychal Green.
What is going on here?
What's going on here? Very strange.
What is going on?
What is going on? Very strange. But I will say this. Draymond Green's recruitment was like, hey, what we need you for is toughness. Just come here and be tough at this or that.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, there's something to this about the Warriors get it. They have Draymond who gets it. They have
Yep.
Steph who gets it. They just
Yep.
have a bunch of people who get it. And part of me looks at this and goes, we're fine with J. Mike going. He was redundant in the basketball sense.
Yep.
But I do feel like the Warriors are like, you know what? It's more important.
Yeah, that's a bummer when the most successful team. This is like you break up with a girl and then like the super hot rich guy is like, hell yeah.
Yeah,
And you're
exactly.
like, oh, wait a minute.
Damn it. What did I do?
Did I? Maybe, perhaps I didn't manage this correctly.
You would have been happier if J. Mike went to like the Magic or something.
Of course,
like Sacramento.
dude.
And
That's
you're like, well,
like, dude, you always want your guys to go be in good situations, but you don't want them to rub it in your face.
Right.
Like, that is exactly right. The role of JaMychal Green over the last several years has been one where we actually needed him to make a bunch of shots. We needed him to rebound. We needed to rely upon his offensive output on that second unit, which was like so sorely needed. And he just like wasn't really reliable for that. But like if you just need to be like an enforcer guy and you have somehow an unending string of the greatest shooters the NBA has ever seen, then JaMychal Green's role becomes different. Good for J. Mike. It's going to suck when he personally breaks our hearts.
We'll get to that in a second. Another thing from that report was that he said he was battling some things physically last season. That again, these are the types of things. Like the teams are so weird how they never tell you about a player being injured, this or that. Like we didn't really hear about a specific injury, but allegedly all year long he was battling something. And if you look at his shooting, last year was the outlier. He kind of dipped down last year. So one of the things in the report was, 2 seasons ago felt great. Last year I was dealing something with all year, but I'm back to feeling great. So take that for what you will. J. Mike feeling rejuvenated, feeling loved, feeling excited to be. It actually reminds me. Remember when he came from the Clippers to Denver?
Yes,
it felt like
incredible.
It felt like such a good win when he was like, "Yes, I left that crummy team full of losers, and I went to the team full of winners." And now he's going to Golden State, like a team of even more winners. You're like, "Oh."
He just keeps failing up, dude.
Failing upward. Well, it is funny, actually. Nobody has talked about this, but Nuggets beat the Clippers. He goes to Denver. Warriors beat Denver. He goes to
Sneaky Durant
little
vibes.
Kevin Durant.
Sneaky Durant vibes.
The last thing, though, about it that we didn't really talk about, one of the main reasons, or one of the things that I think has a real tangible benefit here, although I don't know, it would be an interesting question for like George Karl or someone, but he maybe has some insight into the Nuggets in the playoffs. And I wonder if there's something to that of like, hey, the Nuggets are a team that we might match up with against. You know Jokic very well. You have this institutional knowledge. What does he not like?
What Jokic doesn't like is getting double teamed and then you can't. That's the thing about Jokic. Like, how can you it doesn't matter what scheme you come out with, he'll eventually break it.
Eventually.
Yes, that's the thing. Like, eventually he will break it to the point where if he has enough help that you won't beat him again.
Right.
It's obvious what to do. Like, scheming against Denver is obvious. You just do whatever you can to get the ball out of Nikola Jokic's hands, and then you make everybody else try to beat you. And then at a certain point, then you start off being really physical with Jokic, and then at a certain point, he breaks you down. Hire me. I'll tell you what to do. We don't need JaMychal Green to break this down.
Speaking of the Golden State Warriors, Kale, there is a new uniform for the Golden State Warriors. Have you seen this?
I saw it moments ago.
It just came in. Here it is on your screen, and oh my God.
So
go for it. Break it down.
As you know, I am a fan of classic uniform
This is
design.
very classic.
We went a little too basic.
We're too classic.
We're a little too classic. This is like a little too pared down. Obviously, I know everyone is going to talk about how this looks exactly like Michigan.
Which is hilarious because Draymond Green, very vocal Michigan State fan or an alum.
Wow, that's a great point. I hadn't really thought about that. It's weird because they typically have a more sky blue color, like more of a royal.
They're taking all of the Nuggets' best colors.
They really are, and best players. This is a handsome jersey.
I would call it a handsome jersey.
This is a handsome jersey. It does not feel like Golden State to me at all, but at the same point in time, whatever. But it is. That's the funny thing about this. All these Nike jerseys that are coming out, they're either insane or insanely plain. and like nothing in the middle.
That's true.
It's like there's two different design teams. One's like headed up like an old guy like me, and like another one is like a preteen.
So am I dumb for loving these? Because here's the thing: they don't look like Golden State Warriors jerseys, so that is an automatic like you get docked major points. But if I throw that to the side, you're right that they are so basic. I'm kind of a basic guy.
I love basic, but the thing is that this is like not foundationally basic. It's not going to come back. This is not going to echo into the history.
That's true.
In the annals of time with the Golden State Warriors. If this had always been the Golden State Warriors jersey, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's great. Like, why would you ever change this? But now it's like, all right, like you can't quite back up that far from where you started. You already sort of have an iconic jersey. Especially with the stripes on the side, this feels very collegiate to me.
You know what? This would be a better jersey as Pacers jersey. This
would be a nice Pacers, but it still feels extremely collegiate.
It does look collegiate. Is it just because it's Michigan, do you think? It's like the exact colors. A lot of this is just, that's a very specific gold, a very specific blue.
It is that, but like it's more like the two stripes on the side. You don't really see that in the NBA.
No.
And what do the shorts look like? Do we have the shorts?
There they are right there. These look like the shorts I wore back in the 90s. With a little stripe at the bottom. I used to love these things.
Yeah. Okay. So they terminate in a black. Is that what I'm seeing here?
It does look like that. Darker blue.
Darker blue. Interesting. I mean, listen. Like this is you're gonna see these. No one's gonna be offended by these. There are jerseys that come out that are like I saw a leak of a potential Minnesota Timberwolves jersey that chilled me to my very core. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
This is you're like
Minnesota though. It's just like they have some bad ones in their history.
I mean, if only we had a direct line to some decision making over at the Minnesota Timberwolves, we could give them a piece of mind.
Can you imagine you go over to Tim's office and he has like Photoshop open? He's like, he's working on a design. He's like, oh, hey, Eric. Hey, what do you think of this, man?
I'm like, it's a little like amateurish.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so
like,
whatever.
Amazing, perfect.
Whatever. Like they're gonna wear these. They'll be fine. No, they're not gonna look bad. They'll look great.
They'll look good.
They'll look really sharp. It's just like you're not adding anything to the whole sphere of Warriors lore.
Can I tell you, man, my funny story? I put this on Twitter the other day, but it's like a real story. So I'm painting my office at home. I'm into redoing it. I'm trying to become respectable.
Okay, all right.
Painting it. How many swatches would you say I have on my wall at this very moment?
Oh God. Let's see.
What's a reasonable amount of swatch? Like you get
so
over, you're like,
let me
guess.
So you
tester, and I'm gonna paint the.
You have eggshell, Navajo white, off.
At least they're different colors. At least they're different colors.
Okay, hold on. So you have robin's egg blue.
I love this all colors.
Eagles Landing. Oriole orange.
No, but I'm telling you, man, it's honestly my worst skill because I have 9 right now. I think I picked one. It was number 7. So like
you shouldn't do that to yourself. That's too many. No one should do that. That's too many.
It is too many, but you kind of change horses midstream. I went to
how
like the
wildly
wheelhouse.
different were they?
The last 3 almost identical.
Okay,
but I started like the first one I did it was way more purple than it looked on the little thing. So then you put it on there, and you're like, oh, there's too much
what is for a dark gray?
I'm going with the dark gray.
Okay,
I'm going with the dark gray.
Dark gray is the foundation, which I approve of.
Yeah, and it's got a 90% blue, 10% green.
Oh, okay. So there's a little. Okay, so it's a cooler dark gray.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's dark though. It's dark.
Okay. Yeah. My personal design aesthetic as it pertains to interior design or things like that is I always like a neutral, darkish, if possible, base, and then the pops of color or whatever come from the decorations.
Man, that's exactly what I'm doing. I should be a freaking graphic designer, every time. This is so great. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, segment 2, guys. The most interesting things about the Nuggets. Kale, by the way, people in the chat, I want to hear from you guys. What is the most interesting thing about the Denver Nuggets right now, coming into the season? What would you guys say is number 1, number 2, whatever? And kind of earmark those, because as we do our list, I want to see what people are feeling. You guys ready for D-Line does the ad reads?
Boy, oh boy, am I ever ready personally. Guys! Breckenridge Brewery. Did you know Breckenridge Brewery is the official beer of DNVR?
I did know that.
We have beers on tap. We will have beers on tap again, as well as seltzer being sold in the bar when the bar is reopened in the coming months. Breck Beer has a beer for any occasion. There's no better way to watch the game than having a Breck brew. They've been doing it for over 30 years, and it all comes down to their love and passion for making good beer. I can attest to that. I love drinking Breck brew. What is your favorite Breck brew?
Oh, Avalanche Amber. I told you. To me, Avalanche Amber is like the Colorado beer.
Avalanche Amber.
Avalanche Amber. Like, an amber beer to me is Colorado. I know everybody drinks IPAs and stuff, but to me, like, everybody drinks IPAs.
But
Portland drinks IPAs. Austin drinks IPAs. Avalanche Amber, to me, it's the taste of fall, and Colorado is a fall state.
Well, so does that mean that it's then limited to only drinking in fall? Do you drink this
No, I
year-round?
drink it all year round. But you know why? Because
You're autumnal.
exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'm autumnal. All year I'm thinking about autumn.
My man is so
I'm
autumnal.
so autumnal, man. As is the Colorado.
If you're looking for that very autumnal, very delicious.
Let me ask you something right now, because it's been hot lately, right? 90, 100, all over the place. How would you like a nice, cool October day, October 3rd? Like right now, a little cool breeze comes in.
You know what I do?
Throw on a little flannel, just a light one.
Oh, would I like the weather to change to be like that? Or are you saying would I
All
like
of
to
it, the
drink something
smells,
to transport
all
me
of
to
it,
that feeling?
all of it.
What I do is I drink eggnog when it's really hot to remind me of the cold Christmas.
Really? Yeah, that's right. Some nice eggnog.
So if you're looking for that delicious amber ale that Adam described, you can go to the Breck
Colorado
Beer
beer.
Locator. You can find that on Breck Beer's website, and you can get all of that Breck goodness. And DraftKings. Get in on the hottest sports action for your shot at cold, hard cash with DraftKings Sportsbook. Bet on your favorite sports all summer long and gear up for football season. Right now, new customers can get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Just make your first bet up to $1,000, and if it doesn't hit, you'll get another shot at a big win. Plus, same-game parlays, spreads, money lines, over-under, props. Your betting options feel endless. Best of all, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Deposit and withdraw cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code DNVR. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's code DNVR. Only at DraftKings. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. New customers only. Minimum $5 minimum deposit. Risk-free bet paid out in the form of non-withdrawable free bet token, max $1,000. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
we bike.
We bake!
All right, so I'm going to go in reverse order here. The 5 most interesting things about the Denver Nuggets right now. Now, this is kind of a blending between, like, if you were to stop a person on the street and someone's like, I've never heard of this. What's the most interesting thing about them? That's a little bit different than we're talking to our audience who already knows, and maybe they have a little bit.
Who do you think
deeper.
we're talking to right now?
It's a blend. We're talking to a blend.
Random people off the street.
I'm telling you, it's always a blend. We go for the people that are the diehards. We go for the people that are
see.
also maybe more casual.
Tuesday in
We
the
get
off
everybody.
season.
Is there a Tuesday in the off Tuesday in the off season? Maybe a little more. I made a list. All right, did you make a list? Come on. Number 5, and you might be surprised by this that it's only number 5.
Okay.
I kind of feel like this is a make or break season for Michael Porter Jr. Now, here's what I mean. It's not a make or break as in he could be out of the league entirely. This is a make or break season for Michael Porter, the max contract player. What I mean by that is, if he has another 30 game season or gets hurt or misses a bunch of that, I think it's the final mark where we'll be like, you just can't count on him. Like right now, there's a lot of people that feel that way already. And I think that they're probably a little too early, although I don't blame them for it. Like, look, guy, 3 back surgeries. What do you want me to say? But I feel like this is the year where if it just doesn't go, like, well, it'll be like any of these contracts of guys that sign and are just like, yeah, they're not going to be healthy and they have 4 more years. What are you going to do?
So this is make or break season for MPJ, for our personal confidence in MPJ.
MPJ, the superstar, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, whether or not we look at him as an asset or a liability.
I think the liability part is not going away after 1 year because he can even have a good year. But my point is, like, when I talk to people, you know, my buddy Kirk up at Summer League or this or that, and I'm talking about the team, I'm like, man, Michael, you guys don't know how good Michael Porter is. And they're like, come on, man.
Right.
You know, like they're like, no, this is that.
Anytime we talk to anybody outside, they're always like, okay, the guy with the back surgeries.
Or they just don't realize that he's great. They'll be like, yeah, I mean, what does he do? Shoot and what else? And you're like, that's all he needs to do. Like, it's like saying, what does Steph Curry do? Shoot? Like, yeah, that's been really good at it. So Michael Porter, to me, this is the year where I could foresee him having a great year, even being an all-star caliber player, maybe making the team seems tough just because the minutes and this or that and the responsibility. But who knows? Like, he has that ability in him that's just otherworldly. But this is the last year that I feel like it is somewhat tangible, somewhat attainable. If he misses too much of this year, or if he doesn't get over the hump in some of the areas of his game that are
he'll be digging out for the rest of the.
He'll be digging out for basically the rest of his contract in some capacity.
Listen, yes, this is the last of the early career goodwill that he's running on. That like where you're like, okay,
yeah,
like okay. Then once you get into what we'll call it the Will Barton zone.
It's so true. He is like
Where Will
he
Barton
might be teetering on the Will Barton zone.
Where Will Barton can win ball games, but everyone's still like,
oh,
you
so
should
true.
have passed it.
It's so true.
We wanted Monte.
Damn it, you're right. This is when PJ's like,
yes.
Is he going to the Will Barton zone, or is he going back into the Bones Hyland zone, where he's like the shiny new toy yet, where we're like, anything's possible with him?
Yes. Is he in the Jamal Murray zone or the Will Barton zone? It's a.
Where would you? I'm the injury thing is just so tough, but I'm telling you, I'm still. You guys know this from how I've been over the last what I've been preaching. My flag is firmly planted on the Michael Porter Jr. is a superstar if he can stay healthy.
Well, he's just so goddamn there are things where you can just be, a homer and be like, well, he's our guy, so he's good. But Michael Porter Jr. is not that. Like, we have not seen it. Like, frankly, I don't even know if we like him. You know what I mean? But he's just so amazing that you can't deny. You just watch him, you're like, that's the best shooter I've ever seen. That's the sexiest jump shot I've ever seen in my life. And when it really starts to go in, you're like, man, if we could just count on that, can we please if we can count on that, no one can stop us. Yeah. No one can stop us. So
true.
It's the problem is that you're not you're having an argument not with talent, but with connective tissue in a back.
Here's the best way you could describe this: is Michael Porter has a chance. First of all, he has a chance to be the second best Nugget. I don't think he can pass Yoke, but he could pass Jamal. He's that talented. I'm not counting on it. I'm just saying it's not unfathomable that he's such a good scorer and shooter that you're like, I don't know, man. He scores 25 a game, and whatever. But he also has a chance to be the third best player on any team in the NBA.
No question.
I think that's the more likely thing you're saying is, can he be the third best player?
No question. He's better than Draymond Green. He's better than...
he's not better. Draymond's the second best player on that team in my opinion.
You think so? Better than Clay?
What were they ranked offensively this year? 14th? What were they defensively? Number 2. Tied for number 1.
For sure. It's just that there was no point when people were just openly laughing at Klay Thompson.
I know. But he is the Klay Thompson of this team, and he has the ability to be that caliber player.
Yes, for sure. Okay.
Number 4.
Number 4.
I can't believe this is number 4. It's a testament to how dope the Nuggets are. Michael Porter make or break season being number 5 is come on. If you gave me every team's top 5 storylines, no 5th storyline would be that compelling.
It's very compelling.
It's an incredibly compelling storyline. Number 4, even more compelling to me personally.
Well, that's why it's 4 instead of 5.
It's gaining momentum.
Oh boy.
The ascent of Bones Hyland.
Oh my God, dude. How is that only number 4?
How is it only number 4? Because there's some great stories here ahead. The ascent of Bones Hyland, I'm telling you, man, you guys did this yesterday where you were talking about this game. Can I wax on this for a second?
Please.
Not enough is made of this. The Brunson League. It goes back. This is not
Is this connected in any way to Jalen Brunson?
No, it's definitely not.
All right, good.
But well, maybe it is. I actually don't. Maybe the Brunson family lineage goes way back in DC. Here's the thing. That is a meaningful amount of points to set a record in a league that has been around for a long time, and to do it as a 21-year-old, and to do it under that fashion the way he did, he was cooking.
Oh,
he was cooking. We saw the highlights of it. He was cooking. I'm telling you guys, the numbers. Ryan Blackburn, shouts to the homie. He's been doing a great job sharing some really interesting stats. I've seen a couple different really interesting things. Last 30 games, last 20 games. What has he done? Usage here, scoring here, efficiency here. He's a unique prospect.
I'm just starting looking at. He got that dog in him.
I'm telling you though, he definitely has that dog in him. But I'm just saying that I am at this moment. We'll see if it carries over all year. At this very moment, I don't know if this is Tuesday in the off season, one of the deadest weeks of the year for the NBA. I don't know if it's that talking. Fully, you were on it early. Oh. I'm behind. Doesn't matter. I've called my broker. I've bought everybody's bone stock that I can find. Buy. I'm telling you. Don't care about price. Just buy.
Buy. I am so high on Bones Hyland. It is not healthy.
No.
I'm in a place where I feel like teenage girls get with boy bands.
Yeah.
Where I don't know if it's safe for him to come around me. You know what I mean? I think I might start screaming in his face and stuff.
You're definitely going to embarrass us at some point.
No question.
Yeah,
I mean,
very embarrassing.
There's presumably people watching this. They see. I'm 44 years old, Adam.
You're very old.
It's embarrassing.
Well documented.
But we were talking in the Slack about how insane the last shot of that tournament was, because the whole crowd was already on the court. As soon as he let go, they were mobbing him. Yes. And Dev was like, what if he'd clanked that? What happens? Everyone just says, but here's the thing. Kanye West said, I guess we'll never know.
I guess we'll never know.
Doesn't matter. Bones Hyland has that in him where he gets crowded by a very excited group of people, does not flap him in one way at all. Like they knew it was going to. They knew it was bottoms. I knew it was bottoms. He knew it was bottoms.
If you off the top of your head named Bones Hyland's games from this year, just think to him. What were the games? If I said great Bones Hyland's moments, performances, whatever. What
in the playoffs.
Playoffs, the game they won. Playoffs. So this is what I'm saying. All right, number one, super pressure game. Yes. You're going to get swept or you're going to win a game. Boom, he shows up. What else? You can think of this, man. You should be able to.
Hold on. I'm not good with my memory. You know.
Yeah, I do know that. I'm the same way. But you would know this one. I will tell you.
Tell me.
Philadelphia.
Oh my God, you're right. Then that's right. Afterwards, Nick Wright was like, "Do we have to start talking about how Joel Embiid doesn't have Bones Hyland on his team?" You're right.
He showed up big time and had those 4 threes or whatever in a row.
Big game Bones.
Big game Bones. I'm saying. And then the other one,
big game Bones, Mr. Nugget.
And the other one was actually pretty important. It was the Lakers game. You know, he had and I think it was the game that ultimately sealed them into the playoffs. So, like, it's meaningful to me that probably his 3 most memorable games this year all came in, like, in if not pressure, certainly importance.
We had talked about this. This is part of the lore of Bones Hyland, is that he is a gamer. That he steps up when he wants to play in big moments. He plays in big moments. Yeah. He blooms in big moments. Oh my God! I mean, he's got the irrational confidence, but he also has the skill to back it up.
It's rational.
I guess it is rational if you think about it that way. He has incredibly rational confidence.
Here's what's crazy about this, Eric. Number 5, MPJ break or break here, and Bones. Both of these could break in the direction that are the number 1 story. Like, if Bones takes a leap like this and is like that caliber player, it's the number 1 story of the Nuggets. Oh my God, they have another all-star caliber player. I
still don't think it's the number 1 story.
If he look, here's the thing.
Well, it depends.
If he's a Jamal Murray caliber player, if you're looking at him and going, is he going to be as good as Jamal in year 3? Like, in year 3, is Bones and Jamal going to be equals? And again, I'm not counting. I'm just saying it's on the table. That becomes the number 1 story of the year. You're like, holy crap, Denver has another blue chip player. That's probably a max guy.
I mean, I feel like the number 1 story of the year is going to be when they win the NBA championship.
Well, it could be it. Make or break year for MPJ. If he is the great player, that's the number 1 story. Like, Michael Porter is capable of being the number 1 story this year. Like, holy shit, 45%, 24 points a game. It's the number 1 story.
This is why the Denver Nuggets are worth paying attention to.
This is why they're so dope.
Because there are so many interesting... There's interesting storylines.
There's 3 more. Here's what's funny. Number 3. Nikola Jokic's greatness. Okay, this is great. I'm just saying Jokic. Just like if you stop a person on the street and they're like, why are the Nuggets interesting? This is topic number 1. You just go, they have this guy who is the most fun / great player who every year to this point has gotten better and presumably will be better this year. And by the way, it's been a 10 out of 10 viewing experience to this point. So who knows what's ahead of us? To me, it's the storyline number 3.
Wow.
It's almost you're almost bored by it.
This is the trappings that Harrison Wynn found himself in last year when he did not acknowledge that Nikola Jokic was the most exciting player on the Nuggets. Or was it most exciting or
entertaining or
most entertaining player on the Nuggets, where you're like, are you already this jaded by what it is that we're seeing, by the performance day in and day out, by the MVP of the league, the back-to-back MVP of the league, not undisputed by any serious person.
Right.
Can he get better? Just watching. I mean, that's the funny thing also about the on-season and the off-season. In the off-season, you're worried about Colin Gillespie. You're worried about the 2-way contract.
I worry about that stuff in the on-season too. But less.
You do. But when the season starts, you're like, oh, right, Nikola Jokic. That's why we watch this team.
But Eric, my thing is we have a back-to-back MVP. I never thought we'd have a back-to-back MVP. We got one. He should be better next year. And this is the thing. We just like... I'm telling you, we were talking about when we were talking about Porter quarters and Murray flurries. We're like, what's better? And we're like, it's going to be 5 minutes into game 1 where we're like, oh, that's right. Jokic is the best part.
Yeah, exactly. What's better? Murray flurries, Porter quarters, or Jokic seasons?
Just a Jokic average game. And you're like, that's right. Jokic
I like a Jokic season. Those are great.
You can have a Porter quarter within a regular Jokic quarter, and you might be more excited by the Jokic portion because he just threw 4.
You're never excited. That's the thing.
I'm always excited.
That's the wrong way to say it, but the floor is so raised, where you're like, oh, Michael Porter scored 11. You're like, Jokic scored 20. Do we care about that?
But this is the thing about going back and watching highlights, like Murray highlights, Porter highlights. They're making tough shots, good moves, whatever.
Yeah.
Jokic's are like tip pass. They're legit, but it's different. Like you could just watch it and you're just like, oh, that's right. I forgot about that time he tipped past the thing. Or I forgot about the time he 6-rebounded one hand and then did this. I forgot about the time he curved the ball in midair to the corner.
I would spend all of eternity in the purgatory that we just went through. If it meant I was spending it the whole time with Nikola Jokic.
Nuggets fans have this weird thing to them right now where they're kind of expecting like a lesser year of Jokic or something. And I'm just telling you, I'm not. I'm expecting a better year, and I'm so excited to see what that means. Very excited. Number 2, Jamal Murray's return.
Ooh,
Jamal Murray's return. Only number two. I mean, this is my list. Look, I mean, this is, I think most people, if you said what is the season's about, because the Porter part is there, they'd say Porter and Murray, but everybody knows it's Murray. Like, Murray is the guy that we know is the established running mate. Like, what is he when he comes back? The range of outcomes is so wide.
Jamal Murray, we're just talking about guys that do it in the biggest moments. Bones Hyland. Jamal Murray showed us the most impressive big game moments I've ever seen in my entire life. 2 postseasons in a row. One in the bubble, which literally rivaled Michael Jordan's accomplishments in this league. Some people, like George Karl, say it shouldn't count. I say it should count more. Whatever. I've won fewer games in the NBA than George Karl has. But the point being is that Jamal Murray did that the year prior against the San Antonio Spurs when the chips are down. It looked like the Nuggets were all but eliminated, and he had the same kind of performance, that gritty, back to the wall, like, I'm just going to start going for it, and the hoop is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. My God, like Jamal Murray coming back, this is another, like, time passes on, you forget things as they get further and further in the rearview mirror. But my God, Jamal Murray is an incredible basketball player.
The other aspect of Murray's return that's interesting to me is just the leadership void. Like, we know Jokic has grown into a better leader in the 2 years of Murray's absence. But one of the things, like, Murray has been talking a lot about his own leadership, and the personality of the team takes on its leaders and its best players. The team has taken on, Jokic has been that guy, but he's kind of been a solo act there. I'm very curious to see what Murray is like and what the personality of this team is like with his return.
That is actually really interesting, because Will Barton was in a place where at times he could be a little bit of a lead. I wouldn't quite say a leader on the floor, but he at least could take leadership of a moment. And Jokic could take leadership of a moment. And you're right. You really want your point guard to be the guy that is sort of making things happen. Jamal Murray being that guy, like, it's going to be interesting to see if all of his time spent on the sidelines has actually improved that. Just looking at things from a higher level and, talking to guys about what he's seeing out there. Interesting. Great stuff. Right. Number 2 on the list. I can't believe it's only number 2.
Number 1 is the big one. Can this team do it? Like, they're a true title contender. And here's the thing. The way I phrase it here is this the team that they were? And what I mean by that is, I've talked about this a lot. Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, Aaron Gordon, Jokic. It's the only real remaining pieces from the last time Murray played basketball. The only real ones. Yet we view them to be the same team. Just like, they're improved around the margins. It's kind of different. Different in ways that are more exciting. I mean, Bones is different. But guess what? That's an exciting different.
Yeah.
So Bruce Brown and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, obviously exciting different.
Yes. They should be improved.
So is this the team that can get it done? Is this I would actually put it championship or bust, if you wanted to put it that way, because that is what makes it so interesting this year. It's the first time, as Josh Kroenke tells us, it's the first 2020 in the bubble was not championship or bust. It was, we can win a championship. We can. But if not, we're on path. This is, if we didn't win a championship, we came up short in some way.
What does bust mean when you say that?
It just means that that's what they're aiming for. Like,
it just means they're bummed out.
It just means it's the goal, and I don't think there's a second goal. I honestly believe that. In years past, it's been like, we need to get better. We need to find out who our guys are, and we want to try to win a championship. And like right now, it's like we want to win a championship.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen, then we have to like make meaningful changes. But our goal is to win a championship at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like last year, the Utah Jazz were championship or bust, and they busted.
Yeah.
And the year before was the Timberwolves. Or not the Timberwolves, the Portland Trailblazers.
Well, you can get to a point where you determine, and I think there's been a lot of teams that have done this in the past where you determine, like, our team is good enough, we just didn't get it done this year, but don't panic. Make a move on the margin here, there, whatever. Or maybe don't make a move at all. Just trust that you're close enough, you're going to get over the hump. And then there's teams that get there and say, no, we're not very close. This is Utah. Like, hey, we're actually not close. That's the true bust.
That's true.
But there's also just the, like...
Because I don't see that for the Nuggets.
But I could see a scenario where they go to a place and they say, you know what? We love it, but we need to make a tough decision here on Aaron Gordon. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Like, You know what? Those guys are good, but it does feel like our ceiling's a little bit lower if those guys are there in those roles. If the
Nuggets don't win it this year and they don't get out of the first round, are we talking about potentially trading Jamal Murray?
Maybe.
That's bust.
To me, it would be more about if it was a resounding. Like, look, if they have a bad season and they're an 8 seed and then they go into the playoffs and they lose in 4 or 5 games, I do think that there would, depending on how well the rest of the season went, I think it would be a hard one to say, like, hey, man, we were right there. They'd be like, well, you weren't because you were an 8 seed, and you weren't because the playoffs weren't all that close.
Dude, the vibes were so good until this portion of the list. Like, I was feeling great.
But here's the other part of it.
What?
I don't think we've ever seen a fully focused Nuggets team outside of the bubble. I'm serious about this.
I agree with you.
We've seen a team that's been exploring their game. They've been a team that are like, what are we? What can we be? I feel like this is the year, and I'm curious to see. I think we're going to see it when training camp arrives. It's one of the number one things I'm excited about. When the exit interviews happened with Michael Malone, it was, to me, a very deliberate framing of it starts right now. Unlike any season before, everything starts right now, and I've talked to all of our guys, and we have a plan in place, and this is what we're doing, and it's different. And I want to see if training camp has that same feel. I thought the Phoenix Suns, I know that they ended up busting as well, but the Phoenix Suns this whole year, we talked about it. They came in like a team that was like solely focused. I want to see if the Nuggets are that way, and I think they will be, and that's the story of them this year.
I absolutely believe this in all of my heart. I mean, we ourselves have been just caged for a year. We're just like
so caged.
We are an animal waiting to be released right back into the wild. We are exactly where the Golden State Warriors were last year at the beginning of this year. They were artificially kept down, and they knew that they had more talent. It's just that it wasn't available to them. I mean, the Nuggets are that times 2. We've got 2 of our best players coming back. We know how good these guys are. I mean, to me, it's not foolish at all to think that they could, at minimum, get back to where they were before Murray got hurt, which is the Western Conference Finals.
Kale, what did I miss? What's the chat telling you?
Lots of stuff from the chat. Core 4 is the most interesting.
That's part of number 1, though. Like, are they who we thought they were? We saw it for so
Are we going to have to start calling them the Hive 5? All 5 of the starters.
I don't know.
Has KCP always been part of the Hive?
He has to win us over, you know what I mean? Like every player.
Well, I just see him wear a uniform one time.
All right.
You already
see him vibing, you know.
You already said the Lakers should have lost. Like you didn't win you over.
You're right. He's 1 for 1 so far.
Interesting one here. Bruce Brown locking Steph Curry.
All right, that's not a top 5 story, but I'm sure.
Most interesting, how does Jamal look is what a lot of people have said. Nuggets have never been championship or bust ever until now.
I would say that 2009 they were championship or bust.
Oh, yeah, they busted.
But they were championship or bust.
For sure. And the next year
they just came up short.
Well, no,
they busted the next year.
But that's the point, is that was the continuation. That was the bust was suspended by a year because of...
By the way, the Phoenix Suns, that's what they feel like. Like last year was their 2009, and next year's their 2010, where you're like, hey, maybe you get a repeat of 2009, but maybe one thing goes wrong and the house of cards falls down.
Couple of fun ones that came in. The most interesting thing is D-Line talking about athletic greens.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
And then the most interesting, and at 0, can DNVR keep creating 1-hour content out of nothing every few days?
Yes.
Go to hell. Absolutely can. All right, let's hit a break. On the other side, gambling.
Woo.
And not just gambling, actually really phrasing the conversation for Bones Hyland.
Oh, boy.
DraftKings likes him for awards next year. DraftKings likes him.
Adam, do you know where I'm from? The city I hail from?
Is it FOCO?
I am from Fort Collins, Colorado.
Oh, that's right.
Affectionately known as FOCO.
Okay.
FOCO, the company, no relation. All the same.
No relation, but you are
all the same. Every time I see it, I get a warm feeling inside. FOCO, Nuggets fans, your home for Denver sports coverage, parting with the leader in sports merchandise and collectibles. The DNVR has teamed up with FOCO to secure your access to the best collectibles and gear all around. Celebrate the Nuggets' back-to-back MVP. You know who that is?
Nikola Jokic.
That's right, Jokic. With this newly released Nikola Jokic MVP bobblehead, or find your fandom with Foco's other officially licensed Nuggets gear. Check out their gear and merch for other Denver sports teams, including the new Rockies, City, Connect bobbleheads. You don't have to get that one. You can just go for the Jokic one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you. I mean,
Stanley
really.
Cup ones are great as well.
Head on over to foco.com, FOCO.com, or click the link below in the YouTube description. And for all non-presale items, use the promo code DNVR for 10% off.
You also have Ivaca TV.
Oh, Ivaca TV. Let me go ahead and click this here. Okay, Ivaca TV. Adam, have you watched the Denver Nuggets at home?
I haven't. Not at home. For 3 years.
For 3 years.
No. Is there a service that can remedy that?
Unbelievable. So there's nothing more. That might be the number one story about the Denver Nuggets in this era, is the team is not being able to be watched by a vast majority of people in Denver. Ivaca TV is tired of it, just like you are, just like I am. They have come up with a solution. They are offering their own service. You can get Altitude on Ivaca TV. It is a inexpensive way to watch all of your favorite sports. It's growing constantly, adding new channels to their lineup, including, Adam, DNVR. DNVR has a channel live on Ivaca TV, so you can check us out daily on that service. More importantly, Ivaca TV, as we mentioned, has Altitude Sports. Baseball season is underway. You can watch the Rockies again. I don't advise it, but if you want to, you can watch them on AT&T Sportsnet.
You get a
Rocky
discount
Mountain.
for that. They're like, we have the Rockies channel.
They
slight
sadly,
discount.
they sadly are also featured on Ivaca TV. How do you sign up for it? You go to Ivaca TV, evoca.tv /DNVR, and use the promo code DNVR. You get $10 off the already low price of $25 a month and you'll get $10 off the first 3 months. That's only $15 a month for the first 3, plus the receiver. There's no contracts, no hidden fees, and it's dope. Check them out.
Segment 3 here.
Let's go.
Final segment, DNVR. Hey, good job getting through those ads, man.
Thanks,
You did a great
bro.
job, man. Really, we made our partners proud. Segment 3 here, and we're going to talk about some of the awards. So DraftKings has dropped all of these numbers now for everybody, so you can go through there. You can make your bets. This is the fun time of year to make crazy bets. Let's start with MVP. Luka Doncic plus 400. Can I tell you something? I don't know if it's a good bet.
He was favored last year.
But I get it. Even last year, their team was good enough. I don't think Dallas is going to be good enough this year.
He lost his running mate in Jalen Brunson League.
Are we sure that they're going to be a top 6 team? Because here's the thing. I don't think Jokic would have won it if they were a play-in team. Everybody even said, like, I do have a threshold and it's the play-in.
Wow. There's no way they're going to be a play-in team, is there? I guess
Clippers,
we're adding the
Nuggets,
Clippers and the Nuggets.
Warriors, Suns.
Probably Mavericks.
You think Mavericks right there?
Probably. Who else? There's
Memphis.
the Grizzlies.
Minnesota's going to be there competing.
Listen. Oh, boy.
It's tough.
It is tough.
Portland's going to be there competing.
I
I like Portland's roster better than Dallas's.
New Orleans probably gets Zion
New
back.
Orleans going to have Zion.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. Dallas, I don't know that they're going to do it. And I don't know. There's also like Luka, last year Jokic gets it as a 6 seed, very controversial talking point. Luka 6 seed this year, does he get our orders? We're not doing this again.
The only thing is that
do they know Luka and Jokic are different people?
They made it to the Western Conference Finals. That would be a massive fall. And are you saying that Jalen Brunson was that valuable to them?
He was their second best player. The
But
Nuggets lost their second best player and went from Western Conference Finals also to 6 seed.
You make a very salient point.
Next up is Joel Embiid. I don't think he's going to get it either. I think this is going to be a split year between the two, although I do think he's going to gun for
We
it.
have a lot of residual pity. A lot of it.
That's so true. Actually, he might be the best bet here. Giannis at plus 700 might be my favorite bet.
We had Adult Swim. He had to get out of the pool.
Yeah.
Now he's back in.
Adult Swim. He's back. Ja plus 1200 is the worst bet on the board, other than Jason Tatum. Jokic at plus 1200. I wouldn't touch it either. It's not quite the value that I need. Not quite.
Plus 1200 is not the value
not the
you
value
need.
I need here.
What kind of value do you need?
I need a lot more value. And then you have Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. I don't think either one of those guys. Let's go on to most improved player out of all those bets. Giannis is maybe plus 700, man.
Yeah, it's probably freaking Giannis. He could have won it last year. The fatigue is always the question. Now, and the worst part about this conversation that starts up at the beginning of the year, never ends,
That's
is
true.
a fight all year, is that it's completely inexact. It's up to everybody else's interpretation. Do they feel good and comfortable about voting for somebody again?
Yeah. Most improved player. Now, this is where it gets really fun. Most improved player. Anthony Edwards is plus 1,000. It's the best odds. Although it's a plus 1,000. It's not that good of odds.
Dude, I don't. He's already very good.
Most improved is the most, like, talk about hard to quantify.
John Morant won last year. I bet it early in the year, but, I mean, even by the end, I was like, I mean, he's incredible. I knew he was going to be good, but like he was very good the year before. There was people that were kind of complaining about that. It should have been Jordan Poole.
Some of these other ones are funny. Like, so Tyrese Halliburton I find very funny. Like, he's a good player, but I don't think it's going to be like, you need a little sexy. You need a little sexy to win most improved, you know?
Well, you either need a little sexy or a massive injury.
Nobody goes from like 4 rebounds a game to 12 rebounds, and they're like, most improved, rebounded the hell out of the ball. Like,
really boxing out this year.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson makes sense because he's going to the Knicks.
I don't think it makes sense.
I don't think it does either. I just think it's the token.
It doesn't make any sense.
He went to the Knicks, and he's going to have more like... They'll credit him.
He's not
going to
improve.
If they win.
His role will get bigger, but he won't improve.
Here's the dumbest one. 4th best odds. Zion Williamson.
See, this is what I'm saying. Massive injury.
Yeah, he improved from not playing.
Yes.
If he doesn't make any sense.
There's a good chance he comes back, plays a full season at the power and strength that he was before he went out, and it's just like he went from 0 to an all-star.
Doesn't make sense to me that he could be most improved. It just does not make sense. He literally scored 20 points a game in like 25 straight games the last time he played.
I know, but it's just it's just like if you are beset with a setback.
By the way, you want to know who's crushing the game?
Who?
Our boy, Christian Clark.
Really?
Yeah, he's got 2 of the biggest stories of the year have come out of New Orleans from Christian. He broke it. This last one, that Zion has a weight clause, a very stringent weight clause in his contract, which is like the thing, here's what's funny about reporting. Shouts to Christian. These stories never get reported. Never get reported. You know why? Players don't want these things out about like, hey, Zion Williamson has a fat clause. He has a fat clause, and it got out, and it was so controversial. You know, like Christian's never going to get to talk to Zion ever again. And it's like, man, good for Christian being the guy that's like, you know what? No. Well, I have the intel. Boom.
Mercifully for Christian is that if Zion doesn't talk to him, he talks to literally no one.
That's so true. That's so true.
There's no other options. We're not talking about that for here, right? Like we're not no fat clause for here because
there's no fat clause. Hey man, I don't know if Jokic. I don't think he has a fat.
No,
clause.
I mean for here DNVR.
Oh really? For you?
I'm teetering.
Wow. Yeah. It's like, whew, D-line. Hate to break it to you, but you did not hit your claws here.
Oh, I hate this.
RJ Barrett, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shea, you want to talk about a funny one. The only reason Shai is not a better player is because the Thunder are trying to hide the fact that he's a great player. So he would be the lamest player to win this. What was different about this year and last year? He played.
That's the same criteria we were just using for Zion.
Except for Zion was hurt. With Shai, it was just like literally they restricted his minutes.
I think winning any kind of award out of Oklahoma City is going to be a very tough, very tough road.
You're going to hate this next one, who I think is among the best bets. Jalen Green. Second-year player who's in line to make like a big leap as a player. Jalen Green. I could see it, man.
Bet that if you're a sucker.
Well, I'm a sucker. All right, now we get to the fun ones. Michael Porter Jr. plus 3,500. Love this bet.
Wow.
Love this bet.
Wow.
Most improved. What's it going to take for Michael Porter to be most improved? Do you know what it'll take? 60 games. 60, maybe 65.
So, Zion Williamson.
Yeah.
You ruled that out as
you know the difference between them though is that Zion was an all-star. He was like already great,
and then Michael Porter Jr. plays for us.
Well, that's also part of this. No, but seriously, like Michael Porter is not viewed in the same caliber as Zion.
You're right. Of course, you're right. Yeah.
But you're right. I'm really more going off of 2020 than I am 2021.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a little sneaky. It's a little sneaky.
And then Bones Hyland behind him at plus 5,000.
Plus 5,000. I put money on this last night.
Most improved?
Yes.
So you think it's more likely than Michael Porter that he gets most improved?
I just see a massive leap for him. I believe of those people, like his game will be most appreciably better between last year and this year. Won't be because of playing time. It'll just, I just really feel like Bones Hyland has been in the lab, has been working out, playing, shooting, like just every day. Like he's just really, really wants it. And he really, really has that amount of skill. And like his issue last year, more often than not, was just the size, you know, and like he's he's not
put on 5 pounds,
way bigger, but like he looks bigger. He looks a little bit more imposing. I just have all the faith in the world in this guy. And plus 5,000, you put $10 to win 500.
Yeah. It's a great bet. I'm hopping on that and do that. You're right. I might sprinkle some around though, because here's some other ones I like in this. Quentin Grimes, another one of your boys, plus 10,000. He'd have to have a really good year, better than projected. But you know what? I think he's a good player. He had a great summer league. And then here's another fun one: Isaiah Hartenstein plus 15,000. What are the chances he's like the Knicks' best player?
Dude, what if Isaiah Hartenstein wins most improved player? That
plus 15,000. You want to talk about good odds?
I mean, you know what that means is that you bet $5 to lose $5.
Coach of the year is an interesting one. Ime Udoka plus 700. I feel like he's going to win it. Coach of the year is the most. It's really about last year.
Yes,
it's the most award that's about last year, and Ime would have won it last year. Based on last year,
except for that they were making up for last
year.
They
were making up for Monty Williams. I'm telling you, right. This is always 1 year behind. So Ime, I feel like plus 700 is great value. Like
that's a great.
What point. Are the Celtics going to be bad next year? No.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Taylor Jenkins plus 1,200. He's going to win it next year, the following year.
How far ahead in futures can we bet?
We really have to keep going. And then Monty Williams again. Come on. Monty Williams isn't winning.
No. He lost. In fact,
they lost by 50.
They lost by 50, and he lost DeAndre Ayton. He had to sit.
That's right.
They had that
were having
whole thing.
You're right. It can't be him.
And then remember, I mean, we've heard kind of crazy things coming out of Suns camp about him. Honestly,
there's some value plays here in the middle though. Ty Lue plus 1,300. Ty Lue's a great coach. That Clippers team might be incredible, man.
Yeah, but
they have so many players. They're a 1 seed.
Dude. It's Ime.
LeBron all year sending congrats to Ty Lue as passive aggressive comments.
It's Ime, dude. It's Ime. I mean, let's what are we?
Chris Finch plus 1,300. If it works out, who gets the credit?
Tim Connolly.
And then Michael Malone plus 1,400. Another bet I absolutely love: Willie Green plus 1,800. If it works out for New Orleans, Willie Green's going to get all the credit for it.
Okay.
Sixth man of the year. Here's where we're interesting. Jordan Poole plus 500. This was last year's bet, right?
Yep.
And it's a really good one. Yep. I think he's the leader, the clubhouse leader. Tyler Hero plus 500.
Won it last year.
Did win it, yeah.
Then was largely ineffective in the playoffs.
I don't think it's going to be him. Malcolm Brogdon plus 1,200, so you see a big jump. Bones Hyland plus 1,800.
Oh, baby.
What's he more likely to get? According to this, it's sixth man of the year plus 18 as opposed to plus 5,000.
Will he be the sixth man?
Get it started. He's starting?
Well, or is he the first guy off the bench?
Bones? Yeah.
Okay. Oh, boy. If he's most improved, this is tough. I think it's...
We know it skews to scoring, too. This is why Jordan Clarkson wins it and Jamal Crawford. They're not... Bruce Brown's contributions as a versatile defender are not going to factor as heavily as Bones' scoring.
Oh, boy.
And sweet jumper.
You're talking me into this. He could very easily win sixth man of the year. If he takes the leap that I'm anticipating, it probably is a better bet to go with the sixth man of the year as opposed to the most improved player.
I feel like you need to have a great bench to win sixth man. Because it's who's the reason
he has
for
to
that
run
bench?
the bench.
He has to run the bench, and it has to be a good one that the Nuggets just kind of crush people with it. So I don't like this one as much as I like the plus 5,000 most improved.
Plus 5,000.
Plus 5,000. How can you go wrong? All right, and then we get into defensive player of the year. Not as interesting for the Nuggets. They don't really have anybody on here. But Gobert plus 450. I love this bet because it's it's so binary. If the Timberwolves are good defensively, he gets all the credit, wins defensive player of the year. If they're not, no chance.
It's from the perspective of a Nuggets fan, the idea of him always winning defensive player of the year is so funny because Jokic cooks him so thoroughly every time we play him that it's you do see other players cower away, not want to go into the lane, but it's just then Jokic's brother, I have 47.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Time Lord plus 700. Could see it being him too. Bam Adebayo plus 750. Everybody loves Bam. I think that's the one guy.
Bam. I'll say this a million times. I thought Bam was cool until he was my center. Until he was the center for the USA, and I was then I watched him more critically, and I'm I hate this guy.
Yeah,
this guy sucks.
I don't hate him, but some things are great. Draymond plus 1,100. Look, are we sure the Warriors aren't going to be the best defense again?
No.
At some point, is Draymond just going to win on their I don't know how it happened, but there they are again.
He just had
Giannis plus 1,200, which I think is an interesting one. I actually kind of love the value there.
Oh boy,
does Giannis want to be Defensive Player of the Year? Smart, and then Embiid plus 1,800. I think if I were Embiid's PR person, I'd be listen, man, you just can't be MVP. They're just not going to give it to you. But you know what you can be Defensive Player of the Year, and then we'll work really hard to be well, he plays defense, and that's more important. We'll do that annoying story. So if I were his PR person.
I hate his PR person.
His PR people are really bad. Mobley plus 2,000, Anthony Davis plus 2,000. Don't think those guys will get it, but
Do not bet anything on Anthony Davis.
Don't bet anything. I'm telling you, man. Most improved player. Bones Hyland or Michael Porter? Sprinkle a little on.
I put $10 on Bones Hyland last night.
For most improved?
Yes.
You love those odds.
Well, it did $500.
Woo, boy. Eric, Tuesday edition. We thought it was Wednesday, but it was Tuesday.
I feel great. You know what? I feel like I'm ready to coast into my weekend. I'm not doing anything else for the rest of the week.
Guys, we are just a couple weeks away, 2.5 weeks away, less than 2.5 weeks away for our trip to Serbia. Very excited for that. Any of our Serbians that are tuning in and listen and want to meet up, want to do this, shoot me a DM. Hop in the DMs, guys. Let me know what you're up to. We're obviously at this moment looking, researching, trying to find some bars to hold events at. So if you know anybody with a great bar in Belgrade, near the Fortress preferably, it's where we're going to be, is not too far from there. So if you know anybody there and you know some locations, or even if you don't know the owner, you say, hey, this would be the perfect place. They do similar things, live events. Here's where you're going to want to be. Shoot us that intel. We appreciate all. We've had a lot of people reaching out, from Serbia, kind of saying, hey, this is a thing. This is a thing you might want to do. So
I've been told it's going to be impossible for us to not drink when we're there. Apparently Belgrade, very lively.
I'm sure it is.
It's been described to me as very lively.
Lively. I can't wait for it. Everybody hit that like button on the way out. Oh, we got a super chat. Oh, wow.
$5 from Carlos Romero.
Carlos!
The thing I'm most excited about is the Age of Contavious.
The Age of Contavious.
The Age of Contavious is... We'll save this for tomorrow. Does Contavious Caldwell Pope have an opportunity to be the best Contavious to ever play basketball?
It might be. It is a great name, isn't it? It's a really good name. Hit that like button on the way out, everybody.
Let's go!